Hello odd ones, thank you for clicking into the channel. My name is Z Solom, and we will be continuing with our search for the missing little girl known as Flapjack. After our little detour on the wellness trip where we stumbled across another ending, I have decided to go back to this point right here when we are about to check into our room known as room number 666. Now, before I think I had said that I was going to go halfway through the wellness trip, but since we kind of went through a dead end anyways, we are going to keep the information that we know that she was last seen, Flapjack, at the Innsmouth arcade, and we are going to continue into our room and try and get as much information as we can before we go after this little girl. So let's go to our room. You look at a golden panel with the layout of the different rooms and floors. Room 666. There is 4th floor, left wings of the building. You walk up the stairs to the upper floors, but you can still feel the eyes of the concierge on you. Panting, you finally reach your floor. An almost endless corridor spreads out in front of you. At the other end, you can see a figure who seems to be as lost as you are. Didn't the building look much smaller from the outside? You walk down the corridor when you notice the figure approaching you. Your brain is mentally preparing itself for benign hotel small talk. But wait, it's you? You walk a bit further and realize you're standing in front of a mirror. That's why the corridor looks so vast. The mirror marks a fork. According to the room numbers, your room should be farther on the left. In the corridor towards the right, you can see a small yellow sign on the floor. Maintenance. What do you want to do? What do I want to do? Let's just go to our room. We can explore later. Probably. Maybe not. After 2 more confusing turns and giant mirrors, you reach room 666. Finally! You're going to drop your stuff and take a nap. Good plan. Of course, the door resists being open. You jerk the key back and forth in the lock until you hear a satisfying clicking sound. A soothing warmth hits you as you enter the room. Immediately, the synapses in your brain switch into energy-saving mode. The trip to Innsmouth has probably taken more out of you more than you had thought. You don't even notice the rest of the room. The side of the bed makes you yearn for a little shut-eye. Rest? Unpack. Let's unpack. That's right, you're supposed to do something else. A little girl needs to be found, and the reward for it needs to be paid into your bank account. It's only when you march to the closet that you realize you have nothing to unpack. After your briefcase mysteriously disappeared, all you have left is a basic survival kit, a toothbrush, and travel bottles of various care products that you had stuffed into your coat pockets in a rush. You go into the bathroom and position your treasures around the sink. A handful of ice-cold water is enough to refresh you. Good thing you didn't go straight to bed. Who knows, you might never have woken up again. Oh. Now that you feel a little more refreshed, you leave the bathroom and survey your tiny kingdom. Yeah. I'm very glad that I did not stumble across another sad ending. Your place is furnished only with the bare necessities. Your bed is flanked by a chest of drawers. At the window, there's a desk with curved ornaments, and next to the bathroom door, there's a huge, massive, dark wardrobe which extends all the way up to the ceiling. The yellowing floral wallpaper slowly detached itself from the walls in some places, and on the wall, you can see a range of paintings with elaborately decorated frames. What do you want to do now? Open the window, examine the pictures more closely, or leave the room? Let's take a look at the pictures. Since this room has not been equipped with a television, you're left with art as your only entertainment. The first picture shows a ship in a choppy sea. The motif looks familiar but pretty. The impressive fight of the small ship against the huge forces of nature. Half hidden in the background, you can see a small spot of light. You have to squint and walk up even closer to make out a lighthouse. Even some elements of a town are visible. Could this be Innsmouth? You turn to the next picture and immediately take an involuntary step back. You are looking at a grouchy, weather-beaten man, the embodiment of a sailor, complete with a captain's cap, a full gray beard, and a thick black coat collar. The painter of this work opted for a frontal perspective rather than a more advantageous side angle. His head slightly raised, the man's piercing gaze seemed to be fixed on something in the far distance. A small spark of light drowns in his sinister eyes. Odd choice for the hotel room decor. The third and last picture hangs on the adjacent wall, an idyllic view of the beach on a quiet day. A pair of lovers with their backs turned to the viewer. He is wearing a white shirt. She's wearing a yellow dress. The two of them are in an embrace on a sand dune and look towards the horizon. The image fills you with a profound sense of calm. What do you want to do now? Open the window? Leave the room. Let's open the window. After a day out and about investigating, you have no desire to return to the stuffy room tonight. At least open a window to let some fresh air into the room. The window lock is an unnecessarily complicated crank that you turn around aimlessly for a while until you understand how the mechanism works. What do you want to do now? I guess we will leave the room. You know, we got ourselves checked in, we have a place to rest tonight. Let's go about our case. You are now reasonably refreshed again and ready to face the town. Armed only with your wallet, your mobile phone, and the photo of the little girl, you step out into the corridor and lock the room door. You turn right at the first fork, then left again. Right? Anxious to get out, you suddenly find yourself at a dead end. After trying a few other left-right combinations, you finally find the golden sign on a wall which shows you the way to the stairs. As you walk down the circling stairs, you look at the reception on the first floor. The eerie, almost mechanical smile of the concierge greets you. It's as if he has nothing better to do than watch your every move. Hello again. You arrive downstairs and you decide to go talk to the concierge again? Head directly to the exit. Let's talk to him again. Nothing much has changed at the reception. A voice emerges from behind the concierge's clenched teeth. I hope you're satisfied with your room. It's perfect. I want to die here. Book wellness sessions. No, we're not booking a wellness session. Alright. It's perfect. I want to die here. Ah, the concierge puts his greenish hand on his heart. I'm so happy when guests say this. Just get out of here. Let's do that. Time to go and look for Tabitha. Who's Tabitha? Oh, Flapjack. Time to go and look for Flapjack. Your investigation leads you to the harbor, the town center. So, we know that she's at the arcade, so let's go directly to the town center. Let's not play around at the harbor right now. Alright, next chapter, but we had just started, so let's keep going. Innsmouth Town Square, the beating heart of the city, a big attraction for local tourism. It is animated by a group of visitors who are chatting away in the sun. A lot less animated are the lethargic locals who are lurching about the square. A rather creepy looking fountain is in the middle of the square. A gigantic fish-like stone statue stretches its claws toward the sky with water flowing out of its menacing jaw. The water sprays into the air, providing a refreshing breeze to the tourists sitting around the edge of the fountain. Looking at it closely now, it all rather looks like a giant, drooling fish monster. The square is surrounded by handsome, old buildings, although the side streets reveal the true Innsmouth, crumbling facades, just far enough away that the average tourist doesn't notice them immediately. You also notice the mean grimaces of gargoyles sternly looking down onto the visitors from the corners of the buildings. You make a mental note to block out the Innsmouth architecture in the future. At first glance, you can see the town hall and a police station behind the fountain. There should be a few more public facilities nearby, but you don't notice anything right away. You decide to go to the fountain, the town hall, the police station, scope out the surroundings. Let's go to the police station? I mean, the arcade wasn't listed in there, but, you know, maybe the police can be of some help. Next chapter, we'll keep going. You enter the precinct and find yourself in a small foyer. A counter separates visitors from the actual office of the police officers on duty. It's standard practice, observed even in a cranky little town like Innsmouth. A chilly, not particularly inviting old building with only a single, narrow window on the northernmost wall. The room is bathed in a yellowish light, but rather than a warming glow, it's much more like a warm sick. Yellowed wallpaper is about to come loose from the walls, probably a process that has been ongoing for years, the exciting finale of which you can only witness today. Almost every one of the poisonous green tiles on the floor has cracks or other small damage. A policeman is on reception desk duty. He looks at you through dull eyes. The police station gives off the same lethargic vibe that you've come to expect from Innsmouth by now, but who knows, maybe they can help you anyway. You look around, talk to the guard personnel. Let's talk to them. We need to get information. Okay, get down to the point. The life of a little girl is in danger. The wooden floorboards creak under your shoes as you approach the cot. They sound like moaning of an audience somewhere in the distance, commenting on a display of epic stupidity. Oh boy. The cop on duty has been watching you intently ever since you entered the room. He clears his throat before talking to you. What's this person gonna sound like?
So, you want to file a missing person report?
Yes, that's why I'm here. No, why would you assume that? What? Let's ask why he would assume that.
No, why would you say that?
The cop seems briefly surprised.
Well, it's just what most tourists...
He stops himself mid-sentence. All of a sudden, the papers in front of him have become super important, and he starts making neat piles that are perfectly perpendicular to the pen and ruler. It's pure zen to behold. When he's done, he returns his attention to you.
What do you want?
Is this not the library? Say your goodbyes. Why are there so many people reported missing here? Let's ask the obvious question. He stares at his newly arranged desk and adjusts the objects even more. Only an electron microscope could now show any inaccuracy still present in this arrangement. Then, all of a sudden, the cop gets up, murmurs,
"Lunch break,"
and disappears into the back office. Question time appears to be over. Well, we know why some of them are missing. You're now all alone in the foyer of the police station. Leave the police station, keep looking around, look through the policeman's papers. Let's take a look-see. We have 30 minutes to an hour, right? That's how long a lunch break lasts. A quick look to the left and the right. No one in sight. You grasp the opportunity to inspect the desk. You notice your heart beating loudly in your chest. You start rooting through the cop's papers, but sadly you can't find anything apart from crossed out tic-tac-toe games and amateur doodles. A worrying amount of people are strung up on gallows. He's definitely not made any recent notes that you'd consider useful. Why did the man have 18 cucumbers on his shopping list? Disappointed, you step away from the desk. You keep looking around. Initially, upon inspection, the foyer doesn't reveal anything new. Behind the entrance door, in a blind spot, you notice a yellow poster with the slogan, "Bouncer the police dog says, paws off the drugs." Underneath, there's a faded drawing of a dog riding a unicorn over a rainbow. You can't help thinking that the poster has a contradictory message. You look up to the ceiling and notice a CCTV camera you hadn't spotted when you entered the station. Normally, you'd expect this in a police station, but this is the first object in the room fabricated after the turn of the century. Lucky for you, you notice the camera before doing anything stupid. Oh wait. Yeah, we went through his tic-tac-toe games. From the room next door, you can make out some sort of commotion, rustling and voices, and then suddenly a door opens. Several cops enter the room. Oh no. All eyes trained on you. I can explain this or run. Let's run. A little bit too late, you realize that all of this is incredibly hard to explain. Without a moment's hesitation, you beat it.
"Stop!"
The cops shout after you. You wrench open the heavy door and run across the town square. A few locals and tourists look at you surprised, but no one wants to get involved in whatever just happened. You run around the fountain and slow down a little as to be a little less suspicious. From a safe distance, you keep watching the police station, but there's neither an alarm nor does anyone come out of the building to look for you. Interesting. Your sense of self-preservation tells you to leave the town square. There's still no sirens, but you notice more and more policemen leaving the station and mingling among the people in the square. Uh-oh. Where do you go next? To the harbor, into the alleys. I don't want to completely leave the square. Oh, this feels like a bad idea. Let's go into the alleys. Uh-oh. Alright, new chapter. Alright, we will go through the alleys and then we'll call it an end to the video. The town center is dilapidated and seems to be completely dead. None of the footpaths are maintained and weeds have worked their way into every crevice. You notice carelessly dumped fast food packages, beer bottles, and other trash. Some of the narrow side streets between the houses are so crammed with bulky trash that you wouldn't be able to walk along them. Many of the houses are in poor state of repair. Cracked windows, loose wooden boards hanging off the walls, and doors nailed shut. It's impossible to tell in which color the houses were originally painted. You are struck by a bad stench several times, the cause of which you would rather not investigate. As you keep walking, you get to a kind of shopping street with a number of small shops. Half of them seem to be abandoned. The first shop on the corner is a snack bar. Its name, Joe's Pizza and Burgers, is printed in big letters on individual sheets of paper. Right next to it, there's a shop for fishing gear, then a hairdresser just a few doors down. In that shop window, you can see faded photos of the trendiest haircuts that the 1970s had to offer. Behind the hairdresser, you can make out a kiosk selling sweets and magazines and also a liquor store wedged in between two empty buildings. Opposite, you find a shop whose name seems to be Zahn. Judging by the window, it's a music store. At the other end of the street, there is a building with the inscription Arkham Accads. Arkham Accads? The letters are made from neon tubes, but some appear to have been burnt out and have never been replaced. Maybe some of the shopkeepers will be able to tell you more about your client. Okay. You decide which shop to enter. Joe's Pizza and Burger, Barbershop, look at the boarded up shops, continue to the arcades. The arcades, that's where we want to go. Should we explore first? Let's explore. We'll just go through the list. Joe's Pizza and Burgers. Hey, Joe. You look average. When you enter the snack bar, you are struck by the unappetizing smell of fat. Behind the counter is a gaunt teenager who looks like he's bored out of his mind. A name tag identifies him as Chud. Chud is wearing a stained white apron splashed with fat and other substances. His face is haunted by the most gruesome acne you've ever seen. He turns to you and stares at a spot somewhere on the wall behind you. After a few moments of annoyed silence, Chud asks, "What do you want to order?" I have no idea what voice I'm doing for him, but we'll go with that. Look at the menu, ask about the missing girl, leave the snacks bar. Let's look at the menu? The menu is pathetic. Only pizza, margarita, pizza with seafood, fish burger, cheeseburger, and freedom fries are on offer. There's only lemonade to drink. An attached note informs that you can now also order vegetarian burger and vegetarian cheeseburger. Is this supposed to be like French or German? I don't know. Chud's gaze changes from bored to annoyed. Are you going to order anything or not? Ask about the missing girl, order a vegan meal. Let's ask about the missing girl. We don't want to waste time. We've already died once. Do school kids ever come by here? Chud is obviously not interested in a conversation. That's a really strange question. Do you know this girl? You're holding the photo of Tabitha up to Chud. She's gone missing, and I'm looking for her. He looks at the picture with indifference. Are you gonna order anything or not? Bribe him with a tip, keep pressing on the issue, leave the snack bar. Let's bribe him with a tip. Alright. You pull out a $20 bill out of your wallet and wave it around. As for your tip, you show him the photo again. Maybe you can add a little more service. Chud finally shows some motivation, but his eyes are more on the bill than on the photo. Let's see it again. At that age, maybe they know her in the arcades. That's where the kids are mostly these days. You put the bill on the counter. You leave Joe's Pizza and Burger. Alright, well, I just wasted $20. Should we look at the boarded up shops before we go to the arcade? Let's go into the barbershop. Let's keep exploring. As you approach the barbershop, you first wonder if it's permanently closed. What you initially thought was a reflection of light is actually dirt. Are there no hygiene inspectors in this town? Apparently not. You hesitate about whether or not to enter. Ugh. It's best to keep going. I don't really want to get a game over now. Let's enter. The chime of the doorbell is the only greeting as you step through the door. The shop seems abandoned, and a thick layer of dust has settled on the chairs and upright hair dryers. A lime pattern adorns the wash basins and floor. Looks like some water damage that no one cared about enough to sort out. Just as you begin to wonder why the store was open at all, you hear it, a peaceful snore. It seems to come from behind the counter. Hello? You clear your throat. Is anyone there? Abruptly, the snoring turns into a cough and the sound of lips smacking. A hand slams on the counter, and soon the elderly man attached to the hand gets up. With the embarrassment of a gentleman who had fallen asleep during a gala dinner, the shopkeeper adjusts his glasses and hair. He stares at you in disbelief. What kind of voice should we get him? He looks more uppity than some of the other people we found. What do you want? Ask about the missing girl. Is this how you treat all your customers? Let's be blunt. Do you treat all your customers like this? No wonder your store is so run down. The man instantly turns red. Well done. Run down. The tradition of Baldwin hair salons goes back to the 19th century. I manage the best hair salon specialist on the East Coast. His eyes seem to be challenging you. Ask about the missing girl, and then what happened. Let's learn the story. And then what happened? You say, somewhat uselessly. The old barber stares at you wide-eyed. He breaks off, and then looks around as if searching for an answer among the dusty paraphernalia in his shop. Everyone was supposed to benefit. Everyone! It's so unfair. What are you talking about? Goodness me, is that the time? Let's figure out what he's talking about. I actually don't know. What are you talking about? The barber lets out a long, deep sigh. After all I have sacrificed, what we all have sacrificed. His eyes stare into the middle distance. Let him talk? Goodness me, is that the time? You know, when we continue to get responses like this, where it's like it's an obvious reason to back out now, it makes me think something bad is going to happen. But we'll continue to let him talk. Spy movies have taught you that often it's best to just let your enemy do most of the talking. Maybe the barber will tell you his master plan for world domination. The strength of the man has visibly dwindled, and he leans onto the bar to continue with his tale. Everyone has benefited, but nobody cares about the single fate of a barbershop when people are so wealthy. With a sudden move, the old hairdresser leans over the bar and screams in your face, "Their hair falls out!" Breathing heavily, the old man stares at you. He's delirious. Slap him. Try to calm him down. Ask for a haircut. You know, that is probably the best way to get him to calm down. We'll give him some business. Well, why do people go to the barber? You say carefully. The barber gasps for air and lifts himself a few more inches. You want me to cut your hair? This guy's a bit too excited for your taste, but he seems to have found some sense of purpose. Of course? There's that option again. Of course. Goodness, if only you hadn't entered the store. The barber claps his hands and hurries over to the sink to prepare it for the hair wash. I also need a haircut. Quarantine, baby. Woo! You take off your hat and run your hands through your long, flowing hair, through your locks, over your short hair, over your bald head. I kind of want to go with the bald head, but you know, I'm also imagining our southern barber with long, flowing hair. You take a seat in the chair in the front of the not quite so clean sink. Mr. Baldwin puts a cloth over your shoulders. You lean your head back into the sink and, after some height adjustments, you even manage to get into a relaxing position. You feel a stream of warm water on your scalp and hear a slight humming from the tap. Your hair is very well groomed. What would you like me to do today? Just trim the tips, please? A perm? I'd like a clean shave of the head, please. Let's go with a perm. You grasp the opportunity by the forelock. You've always wanted to improve your appearance. A perm, please. Oh, excellent choice. After the shampoo treatment, you can feel the conditioner being massaged into your scalp. It feels good. You're beginning to enjoy this. After your hair is completely clean, Mr. Baldwin rubs it dry with a towel and asks you to sit on one of the chairs in front of the mirrors. The old barber sits down on a swivel chair and puts an old-fashioned fabric protector over your shoulders. He starts brushing your hair. Let's mention the missing girl. This is a perfect opportunity. I'm looking for a missing girl. Flapjack Marsh. You wonder how many times you'll have to say that sentence today. I have no idea. He leans over your shoulder and squints at the photo. Oh yes, I know the girl. Perm, light blonde, tends toward medium split ends. Well, that's an interesting observation, but with someone of your talent, I'm sure that's how you got to be as great as you are. Your stomach cramps with excitement. In your imagination, banknotes are raining down from the skies in slow motion into your pockets. This means you must be close. What else can you tell me about Tabitha? Well, that's all, I'm afraid. Well, that's not helpful. Nearly done. The barber solemnly sorts out a few last strands of hair. With a content smile, he holds a small mirror to the back of your head. In front of you, in the large mirror, you admire your glorious perm. Admire his work? Make a fuss so as to avoid having to pay. No, we can't do that to the guy. I mean, he hasn't had a customer in ages, it sounds like. Let's be nice. Let's admire it. You crane your head back and forth to admire yourself in the mirror. Wonderful, skillful,
Perfect.
Oh, you, the hairdresser interrupts you. You know, we don't think much of strangers here in Innsmouth, but you're one of the finest people I've ever met. His hands lightly squeeze your shoulder. Then he removes the fabric protector so you can stand up. Well, a compliment like that. Are you doing anything tonight? Wink, wink. Room 666 if you're interested. You take another look at yourself, then you put your hat back on. Mr. Baldwin is already standing behind the counter, typing into his old register. The sound of the keys ring like music through the old dusty shop. You can briefly picture what life must have been like when business was still flourishing. That'll be $25. Mr. Baldwin hands you the receipt with a polite smile. Your eyes start to water slightly as you count the loose bills in your jacket pockets. The old man thanks you and puts your money into the undoubtedly empty till. His hand strokes the counter, then ponders the dust on his fingers. I really should clean up sometime. He wipes off the dust on the edge of the counter and as a goodbye, smiles at you apologetically. Wow, that went so much better than how I thought it was going to go. Time to move on. The chime of the doorbell bids you farewell. Look at the boarded up shots. What else are we going to find interesting other than people like doing cultist stuff? Let's go to the arcades. Alright, I think I'm going to call it quits here. So next time we will continue on to the arcade where we will hopefully find Flapjack. Thank you everyone for tuning in and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.